To survive the first night in Minecraft, there are a few things you need to make sure to do. You have to find food, shelter, weapons, and tools. When loading into your newly generated Minecraft world, it's good to make sure to familiarize yourself with your surroundings. Locate some sheep, some animals for food, some trees, and if you're lucky, a village. This is Minecraft for Beginners, and in this series, my goal is to teach you how to create a successful survival Minecraft world step by step. We're in our new world, and we've got to find some starting items. So this is where we spawned. For some reason, we're on top of a tree, and to familiarize ourselves, I can see that there are 3 sheep. So if you're a beginner, basically, we want to find somewhere to sleep, and to sleep, we need to make a bed. To make a bed, we need 3 wooden planks, which we can get from a tree, and 3 wool. All of the wool needs to be the same color, and I can see that there are 3 white sheep over there. You can also see that the sheep eat the grass. If a sheep doesn't have any wool on it, it needs to eat a piece of grass and it'll get the wool back. But as I am on top of this very tall tree, I should probably find a way to get down. There's also a gray sheep and a black sheep. We got a whole bunch of sheep in here. Let's get off of this tree, and we need to get ourselves some wood to begin with. As I mentioned at the beginning, we need to find food, shelter, weapons, and tools. And to begin all of that, we need to punch a tree. Usually you'll do it from the ground, but I'm going to do it from the top down because that's the way I roll. Never let the tree know your next move, that's what I say. So you want to use the left click of your mouse to mine the blocks, or if you're playing on a console, you want to use your right trigger. And now we've got 5 oak logs. So the principle for crafting with wood is the same across all wood types, whether it's birch, oak, acacia, jungle wood, whatever type of wood. It's the same across all wood types, and default items like crafting tables are all made the same way depending on which wood type you use. So what we're going to want to do is you want to press E on your keyboard to bring up your inventory, and there's a few things that you can identify within your inventory. You can see your armor slots are here, your offhand is here, so you can put something in there and it'll be in your left hand instead of your right hand. You then have the crafting grid and the output, and then the crafting book, which shows you all of the useful things that you can craft. You can left click once to enter one of them, or you can shift left click to enter all of the items. You can also press this button here to show only the things you can craft, and then you can click again for the red X to show you all of the things available and unlocked to you at the moment. You then have a few different tabs, but at the moment we're just going to go with the all tab. To then craft the blocks, you can then left click once to get the blocks, or you can shift left click and it'll craft all of them. As you can see, there's a bit of a theme with crafting. And now that we've crafted that, a whole bunch of new items have appeared. We're going to focus on the stick because the stick is the basis for all tools, and we're also going to make ourselves a crafting table. You can memorize the different crafting recipes, or you can use the crafting book to craft different items. We're going to craft 2 lots of sticks, and let's plonk down this crafting table next to this stone here because we're going to want to get ourselves a selection of stone tools. Hello sheep. To place something down, you can right click holding the block that you want to use, and then to open the crafting table or any other interactable block, you can right click on it. You can now see that we have a 3x3 crafting grid instead of the 2x2 in our inventory, and this allows us to craft loads of new stuff. The thing we're going to want to craft first is the wooden pickaxe, and you can craft all of the other wooden tools, but we're going to go for just the wooden pickaxe because we want to get ourselves some stone tools. We positioned ourselves next to some stone in a wall, but you can also mine down. It only takes a few blocks to get to stone, but we're going to grab the stone from the wall, and you're going to want to hold the pickaxe and hold left click. So left click is always break, and then right click is interact or place. We're going to want to get ourselves 8 pieces of stone. As you can see, that was done quite quickly, and then we can come back into our crafting table, place down 3 sticks in each slot like this. If you've got a stack of items like these sticks, you can hold right click to spread them out so there's 1 per slot, or if you left click and drag, then you can spread them out dividing by how many slots there are. So you can see there's 6 here. So that's 2 slots, so it's 3, or 3 slots, so it's 2, and then further than that is just 1. We're going to left click to drag 3 sticks into each slot here. And what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to make ourselves some base tools. So first off, let's craft a stone pickaxe. So that's 3 along the top. Then we're going to want to craft ourselves an axe. So an axe is used for breaking wood faster, and then we're going to want to grab ourselves a shovel. I've just grabbed myself another piece of cobblestone, and we're going to create a few more sticks because I want to show you guys some other tools we can make. So this is the stone sword. As you can see, when in main hand, it does 5 attack damage. We can use this to quickly get rid of enemies. As you can see, it's quite nimble, it's pretty quick, but it does 5 damage, and it does 5 damage quite quickly. If you're happy to wait around and do something that's a little bit slower but higher attack damage, then you can use an axe. I personally prefer using an axe. As you can see, it does 9 attack damage, but it is much slower to attack. And then last but not least for tools, let's grab 2 more, and we're going to want to make ourselves a hoe. So hoe is used for tilling soil, and it makes farmland. You want to make farmland next to water so you can grow crops, and that is farmland. You just right click and it turns it straight into that. Let's pick up our crafting table, and what we want to do now is we want to collect the wool from the sheep. Like I said earlier, we do need to get 3 of the same color wool, so I'm really sorry, white sheep. I noticed that there were 3 of you hanging around, so I'm going to get the white wool for the white bed, and as you can see, we now have 1 white wool. You guys may have noticed that I jumped before I hit. If you hit an animal while you're falling down, it does more damage. It acts as a critical hit. So here's the other white sheep. I'm going to show you guys again. We're just holding our axe. We're going to jump and hit them on the way down. As you can see below my cursor, when I do left click, there's a little reload time. The axe has got quite a slow reload time, and if you hit while the bar is still reloading, then it does less damage. So you want to try and maximize the amount of damage that you do. If I go like this, you can see that it doesn't do much damage, but if I hit it once with it fully charged, then it'll do more damage. As you can see, there were more hearts that came out. Or if you want to critical hit, then it does even more. One thing that's also helpful in the game is sprinting. You can either double tap forwards to sprint, or you can keybind in the control setting sprint to a specific button. I've got it keybound to F, so if I go forwards and press F, I'll sprint forwards. And it looks like we found the last white sheep, so we're just going to kill that and get ourselves the final piece of white wool that we need to make our bed. So let's place down our crafting table again. You can see our white bed is here, and that's just 3 wool on the top and then 3 planks on the bottom. You can use any wood type, any wood plank to make a bed. It doesn't matter which type you use for the bed. And there we go. We now have a white bed. We can see that the sun is around halfway through the day, which means we've got about 5 minutes until the sun sets. But so far, out of everything that we needed on our list, we are doing pretty good. Our goals for this episode were to survive the night by finding food, shelter, weapons, and tools. And it looks like we have already found our weapons, tools. We have got somewhere to sleep. And by sleeping, it completely skips the night. So as soon as the sun starts setting, we can place down our bed. We can then sleep in it, and then it'll skip to morning, so we don't need to worry about any of the monsters that come out. And we also have some food, but this food at the moment you can see is raw. We'll need to cook it for it to give us the maximum amount of hunger back. And if I hover over it, you can see I've got a mod installed that shows you how much it actually gives you. If I hover over it, you can see raw mutton only gives 1 hunger bar and raw pork chop only gives you 1.5. By cooking these get massively expanded. Raw mutton will give you 3 and raw pork chop will give you 4. So it's very, very good to cook any sort of meat that you have. If you also eat uncooked chicken, it can give you negative side effects like poison or hunger, which will damage and drain your hunger bar more. So it's probably best to avoid that. For us to cook these foods, we're going to need a furnace. And by grabbing ourselves 8 cobblestone, which we can get from mining stone like we did earlier, we can then craft ourselves a furnace. So let's grab a few more here. It should be 8, and let's place down our crafting table and do a cobblestone circle like so. That will give us a furnace. Let's now place the meat in the furnace, and as you can see, nothing has happened because we need some fuel. Thankfully, we've just run into some fuel, and we can find some coal in the side of this cave here. It's quite a big cave. We'll probably explore something similar to that in a little bit. 1 piece of coal will smelt 8 items, so we can see that we've got 8 pork chops in there. So we're going to place 1 coal. That coal is then used up to light the furnace. If you break the furnace, it will destroy any sort of heating that the furnace has got. And as you can see through the progress bar, it has now given us a cooked pork chop. By hovering over that, you can see that it will give us 8 hunger back and a whole bunch of sustenance. So the little yellow hunger bars underneath is the saturation. Eating this will give us a whole bunch of saturation, which means that we won't have to eat for longer. As you can see with the raw mutton, there's only half a saturation bar, which means that we'll have to eat very quickly after eating this one, and it won't last us very long. As you can see, that the cooked pork chop is pretty far along now, and we already have a few more pieces of coal. Might be an idea just to grab a few more with our pickaxe though, just so we can keep going and get some more food a little bit later on. One thing to watch out for is fall damage. So if you fall more than 3 blocks, it will cause fall damage. You can see here, I fell 3 blocks, but if I fall 4 blocks, for instance, it will do half a heart of damage. And for every extra block after that, it will do an extra half heart. We're going to pick up our furnace and let's get on our way because we want to find some shelter for tonight. The sun is almost setting and we do have our bed, but it would be nice to find somewhere that we can actually rest for the night. These are sweet berry bushes, and if you can see the berries on the bush, you can right click them and they'll come into your inventory. But if you stand in them, then they'll do damage to you. So you want to keep your distance from them, even though you're collecting stuff from them. So I can see I've grabbed a few bits here. Oh, and I've got snagged. And let's go and grab a last bit of pork before finding somewhere to sleep. So the sun is almost set, and it doesn't really matter where I sleep tonight because I do have my bed. But if you haven't found a bed, and well, that's a really cool cave, look at that. But if you haven't got a bed, surviving your first night, it may just be the case of digging into a wall or digging down a couple of blocks, just putting a block above your head and checking when it's daytime. We're not going to do that because we do have our bed, so we can kind of adventure around without worrying about any mobs coming out. I think that it's about time we can sleep. It doesn't have to be fully dark for us to sleep, just as long as it's late enough. And as you can see, we placed down our bed. It's now the morning and we're doing really good. You now see that I've eaten some of the pork chop and my saturation is now really high up, so it will last us ages while we're running before I have to eat any more. If you've got these main basics down, then you're going to be able to survive for ages. You've got tools to aid you, you've got some food, and you're able to sleep. Now that you have all of these, the world is your oyster. There might be an idea to find somewhere to settle down and build your first base. This looks like some awesome terrain generation. We have a lovely cherry biome over there. And I think we're going to want to set up our base somewhere around here. You can also see a little bit of iron down there. And this is some of the coolest terrain generation I've seen in Minecraft. We're going to want to set up our base near some natural resources. So there's a lovely forest over here with a bunch of animals. In our next episode, we'll do some basic farming. So we'll get all of these cows to start breeding. Same with the sheep. And we'll also get some other farms, such as wheat farms, going. I think this spot is a perfect spot for a new base. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place down my bed. I'm going to right click on it so you can see it has reset my spawn point. And I'm also going to plant some of these sweet berry bushes so we can get some basic food going. I planted it under the tree so I can't accidentally walk in and hurt myself. And after a little bit of time, these things are going to grow up and start producing berries. So we're going to have a good little food source. We can also see a bee over there so we can get some honey farms going on a little bit later. I think we've got a fantastic start to our world. And if you guys have followed this tutorial, so will you. Oh my, wow, that has grown so fast. It's just completely skipped all of the middle growing, and it's just gone straight to the end. Some mechanics in Minecraft are completely random, so sometimes you will just see things grow almost immediately. You'll plant a sapling for a tree and it just instantly grows. It's wild. But I hope this tutorial has helped you guys out. If it did, make sure to like the video and make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss another one of my Minecraft for Beginners series. If you guys have any questions about different things in Minecraft, make sure to comment them because I will most likely be making tutorials on it, and commenting might speed up that process. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!